Good evening, and welcome to today's masterclass. We will begin shortly. We'll wait till all the participants join in. Before we start, could you quickly confirm if I'm audible? If you can hear me clearly, you can just type a yes in the chat box if you can hear me clearly and hear well, if I'm audible. All right. I do see a couple of yeses. Thank you. Thank you, Simran. Thank you, Sintoor. Thank you, Rani. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes, wait for a couple of participants to join in, and then we'll start in some time. Hello, everyone, once again. So I'll give a quick introduction about our topic and our speaker, and also how we will be carrying forward this session. So welcome, everyone. And today we will be covering the topic data science and generative AI skills and how this would be the roadmap for a successful career in 2025. And our speaker for today will be our industry expert, Mr. Aniket Chhabra. So just to give you guys a quick introduction about Aniket, he is the director of product in generative AI and AI at Monai with over 13 plus years of experience in designing data science applications. His expertise includes predictive modeling, machine learning, algorithms. He is also adept at extracting insights from data that can boost business growth and solve business problems. He has worked with companies like PayPal, Fidelity Investments, GE Capital, and also ASAPP. He has worked in the sectors of finance, technology, and product innovation. He's also done his MA in economics from Delhi School of Economics and is an alumni of the PGP Data Science Program. So before I hand over the session to him, I'll just quickly take you through the flow of the session. You can ask as many questions and please do keep the session interactive. Since we've kept all of the attendees in a listen only mode, you can ask your questions via the chat window or the Q&A tab, and we'll take them up and the speaker will take them up as the presentation is going along. So do ask your questions there. Just waiting for a couple of minutes. I still see that we see some participants joining in, and then we should start in a few minutes. So please bear with me while everybody joins in. Thank you. Hi, Bernard, and I do see a couple of people have raised their hands. If you have any questions, can you please type it in the Q&A window or the chat box and we'll take it up. Our speaker is just having some trouble joining in, but he'll be joining us in a few minutes. Till then, let's just wait for a couple of minutes. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Hey, hi, Smiti. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, audible.
Yeah, loud and
Um,
clear. Okay.
yes.
I'll
I'll
share.
stop sharing my screen so you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Aniket. I think you can share your screen now. And yes, I can see your screen. Yes, we can go ahead.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Sorry for joining late. There was a traffic. There was an exigency. Okay. So I think Smriti would have talked about the agenda. So my name is Aniket. I'll be conducting today's session. So as you can see, the idea is that how we can think about a data science roadmap for 2025 for data science and GenAI profile. Okay, how we can make a career in the domain of data science and GenAI, and how these two are related as well. We'll talk about those things. Okay. Um, so let me move on to the definition of data science, like what is data science, and then we will move on to the GenAI side. And what we'll do is maybe last 10 to 15 minutes we'll keep for the Q&A. So whatever questions you have right now, your questions you can put it on the chat window or the Q&A box, and then later I'll keep the 10-15 minutes of the Q&A session. I'll take up those questions. Okay. So yeah, so what is data science? As you can see in the name as well, see data and science. So what you're doing is uh, with your data, you're applying scientific algorithms on the data. And what scientific algorithms do you apply? How do you apply them is something on the left-hand side diagram that you can see, Venn diagram, right? So there are three main things or three main themes of the diagram. One is the maths and statistics, which means that you need to be aware of the basic maths and statistics to learn about data science, or you can say data science covers some part of maths and statistics, right? But then this doesn't mean that you need to be a mathematician or statistician to become a data scientist. No, that's not the requirement. But basic knowledge of maths and data science, maths and statistics should be there. Now, what knowledge? Something we'll cover in the when I'll talk about the course structure. about like how the DSBA program that is from Great Learning can help you in getting those into foundations of maths and statistics. The second piece is the computer science and IT, which is especially the programming knowledge that we use, right, or software part. And now, if you think of like if we think of Gen AI, then a lot of applications are, a lot of softwares are being built on this AI. So AI is embedded in the software application. So then, how much knowledge is required to become a data scientist? Um, like how much knowledge of, let's say, the programming skills required to become a data scientist as well as Gen AI scientist, right? Or ML engineer or AI engineer, you call it. A lot of profiles are there currently in the market. So, what knowledge is required is something we're going to discuss. Third is the domain business knowledge, which is, now this is you actually get more knowledge as you spend more time in the industry. So of course, if you become a data scientist, you start, let's say you start as a fresher, you don't have any business context or domain knowledge. You get this knowledge or you build your own context or domain knowledge over the period of time. So there's more like a learning curve that you actually, achieve as you grow in your career. So in the beginning, the expectation is not there, but as you grow in one domain or maybe multiple domains, you build that knowledge, right? So that's something we're going to talk about. So then we'll also cover like what is happening in the trend in terms of data science, what needs to be achieved to all these three areas that I talked about, and then what best we can do, right? So data science is a combination, is an amalgamation of these three areas: maths and statistics, computer science and IT, as well as domain and business knowledge. So you can see that there are different components of these three main areas where we'll discuss. And once you get that knowledge, you become you make your case stronger for the data science, data science profile. So let's get deeper into the now, let's say, how a request or how a problem or how a project is solved in the data science field, right? So this is a typical life cycle of a project life cycle of for the machine learning and for the data science project. So then it starts from number one step, which is the collection and acquisition. Now, before this, there is a step which is the business discussion, problem statement, understanding. So what happens is, let's say maybe you're working a data scientist at Amazon, and you are a product, you're part of a product, data science team. Your goal is to build data science model to, let's say, for product recommendation to the user. So whenever we log into Amazon, we see a lot of product recommendations from Amazon. These are the recommendation that you see are personalized recommendation suggested to you by a data science model built by the data scientist, right? So think about like now a life cycle as, let's say you are part of a product data science team. Your role is to build models, these recommendation engines for Amazon's customer. Now Amazon have millions, billions of customers, so of course the scalability will be huge here. But in terms of, to start with, first step is to understand, okay, what is the problem that we are trying to address, which means that what solution we have to build. So which you talk to your stakeholders, customers, right, who tell you about the problem. Okay, this is, let's say you are part of, maybe in the Amazon you are part of fashion category. Within fashion, let's say maybe jeans and t-shirts, one category is there, that for that you want to recommend to your I mean Amazon customer. So then for that you need to build a model. So that's a problem statement. So then what you do is, as per the problem statement, you define the scope of the problem or scope of the project. And based on the scope, you start with the number one step, which is collection and acquisition of the data. You start collecting the data, acquiring the data. Data is sitting in the tables in the databases. It could be any database. It could be, let's say, an SQL databases, no SQL databases, now we have these, I mean, both SQL plus no SQL, both new SQL, we call it. Those databases are there. You hit the SQL queries to acquire the required data for this one. Then second is storage part, which we already talked about, that, okay, you, hit the tables where the data is stored, access them. Third step is cleaning of the data. Now, data is stored in raw format, or maybe not in raw format, the format which you don't like, I mean, you can't build the model upon. So you need, for the models, we need to clean the data, we need to structure the data in different way. We call it aggregated manner or aggregated data, that we need to run at step number three, right? And then let's say maybe data sets on multiple tables. We need to join those tables, process them, and then it's called integration. So which means that multiple data, you create one database, which will be your model database as an input or feature set that you'll be running for your model. The next analysis part, which is the data analysis you have to do, which is EDA, right? Exploratory data analysis we call. So a lot of times we have to do data analysis in terms of like maybe looking at some target variable. So target variable here is, let's say, product recommendation. So a recommendation will be like, well, a particular item that should be recommended to the user. So based on the item, what is the customer history? That kind of analysis you do. Okay, let's say maybe t-shirt is one category. So t-shirt, what kind of customers have been looking at those t-shirts, those type of t-shirts, those color of t-shirts. So these are input features. You analyze the data, you define the relationship between them. Okay, and then once you do that, you analyze and you do the visualization, for which is the data part, data visualization. For there, maybe use Tableau kind of tool to showcase the insights that are coming from the analysis that you've done in the previous step. And then you recommend the actions or the recommendation next steps for your customers. Okay, this is what I see in my analysis, right? So and then in product recommendation, so these are the customers should be recommended with these products, so and so forth. So that is your actions from your side, or maybe customers can also take some actions from their side based on your recommendation. So that's one of the type of projects where recommendation engine, something that you start with. So far we haven't gone into the modeling piece, but then you did the analysis and the data visualization piece and shared with your customers. Okay, any questions on this page, feel free to ask. So you can see here a little more like a detailed flow here, or maybe the more structured flow. You can see the data that you have is somewhere here on the left bottom, where the data is stored, in a database, which we talked about, right? You fetch the data, and then maybe clean the data. That becomes data is clean, mean data is pre-processed or data is processed, and then you made the data model ready data, which means that you now, based on that, you put the data in analysis, which could be, let's say, modeling, or could be a machine learning model, or maybe a data analytics exercise. And then you, based on that, you share your insight with the customer, and customers take decision, the action part, from their side, and then accordingly you implement those changes in your production product, right? And this feedback loop goes, right? So when you see new patterns, you take those new patterns as well, analyze them, and then run the loop the same way it was running before. So this kind of analysis cycle, that's something we follow. Okay. Um, so here comes the model building part. So previously, I think the step number 1 and 2 we already talked about, which means that, like, collecting the data and then doing the exploratory data analysis, or the EDA part. And after that, once the EDA is done, you now perform your model building model building exercise. What is model building exercise? Here you need to build the models, right? So when I say that what model needs to be built, here now depends upon requirement. Let's say for recommendation engine, there could be some techniques like collaborative filtering, or any other new techniques with Gen AI based, like LLM based recommendation can also be there based on customers' preferences. You build the model here. Once the model is built, you tune the model. So model tuning is an exercise where you improve the accuracy of the model. So maybe the first step, you build a base model. After that, the model is tuned. So the model has a life cycle. So model is built as a base model, then model is tuned with a hyperparameter tuning exercise. And then once you improve the accuracy, you get the desired accuracy. Let's say you're targeting maybe 80% accuracy. That becomes your final model you deploy. Then ML engineering comes into picture and they help you deploying this model. Okay. So that's a data science project or data analytics project that we talked about in the previous 2 pages. Any question, feel free to ask. Let's now move on to the market uh, trend. Very quick insight on this slide is that the data science market or data analytics market, you can say, both are growing in double digits, right? So there are job openings which means exist in the data science field. It'll the growth rate is much higher. You can see the bar chart here, the stack bar, I would say here is prescriptive analytics, descriptive analytics, customer analytics are basically data analytics jobs. You are part of different teams here. Like customer analytics is a different team versus let's say product analytics is a different team. You'll be part of different teams here, but you see the growth is every year the chunk, the pie here or the stack here is increasing. So the growth is there. Predictive analytics, the growth is significantly high. You can see the bar is much higher, the blue one by 2030 to 2029, 2027. So the see the growth, as well as you can see in other kind of data related jobs or data science related jobs, right? So there are so overall net you can see in the Asia Pacific, the compounding annual growth rate is around 34%, which is significantly high. And you can see the more data, the more applications built based on Gen AI also, there'll be more people required who can build these applications as a data scientist, machine learning engineer, AI engineer, product manager, so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. Now, what is Gen AI? Right? So let's say then how it is different from the data science. Something we need to let's now dig deeper there. So you can see that there are a couple of things. Um, Here you see the Venn diagram. We have artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. High level, artificial intelligence or AI is actually a part of GenAI only, or GenAI is an application of AI. You can say no. So one of the process that we follow in AI. So one of the type of problems that we solve via GenAI within the space of AI. AI captures a lot of other things. Like for example, AI captures image data as well, which means the CNN models, the computer vision models, which is the self-driving car kind of applications are part of AI. AI also, can be rule-based, where let's say robots that we are building, robotic processes, automation that we do, that can also involve the AI, where it may be a rule-based, the model is not being used, but still it's an AI, which means that so AI in general, the definition is that you're replacing human intelligence with an artificial intelligence, and that artificial intelligence is performed by a machine, by a computer, by a program, whatever you call it, right? That's what AI is. So any task which humans are doing, let's say tomorrow a machine can do, is artificially intelligent. You can tell that intelligence is artificial intelligence because machines are doing it. So like for example, self-driving car, I was giving the example, that's an AI example, right? Or any content that you generate, like for example, you build a bot which scrapes website, that is also an AI application. Machine learning is traditional machine learning, like examples like random forest, XGBoost or boosting models, logistic regression, or let's say naive based, these kind of algorithms that we use are machine learning algorithms. And deep learnings are especially the CNN models, the ANN models, the RNN models are, which is handling the text data, image data, right? Those are deep learning models there. And then data analytics, you can see sits here, which is data science and data analytics, which is data preparation, big data, data visualization, which we talked about in the previous slides, is something that sit here, right? So now, how do you learn Gen AI then? Okay, so I'll be happy to answer more questions here on this slide. But then, how do you learn the AI? Right? First, we need to understand the few foundational technologies of AI. Like for example, Gen AI. We talk about for Gen AI, we need to understand the AI part, which is coming here, which means that we need to understand like how the ML works, how the AI works, the application, the models work, the models, learning models, the data analytics that we need to know, right? You can see here machine learning is also required. Transformer is a deep learning architecture that is required, right? And now with Gen AI, how do you interact, with Gen AI applications via prompt? Let's say, for example, Chat GPT. Chat GPT is like you have to send a prompt, Chat GPT will give you the answer. Then you have um, um, the model APIs. Now, model APIs are basically meaning when you want to use the model, how do you use the model? So these models, Gen AI models are pre-trained models, right? They're already trained. You don't have to train them. You can call those models directly. How do you call them? The question is, you call them via APIs. So for example, OpenAI has APIs, Anthropic has their own APIs, Claude models, right? Every company who is coming up with these models provide you the models with API. Hugging Face is also a repository where a lot of open source models are hosted. You can call their API, so on and so forth. Then we have GenAI application. Like where do we apply GenAI? Lot of applications are there, lots of applications, I would say. right? You can see on the left hand side in the maybe AI, you can create a bot which is actually in the education and learning space. Now the bot is teaching you English speaking, let's say maybe maths, maybe the bot can become a tutor, right? Now it can teach you everything. Business and finance courses, customer support, contact center. So far we have been talking about, like, chat bots, right? So now apart from chatbot, like that. In case you want to build your own models, also there are techniques available which you can use to build your own models. For example, maybe RAG and fine tuning are techniques which can be used to build your own own LLM models or large language models or Gen AI based model, GPT models. Okay, so this we already talked about left hand side. Now, what does a successful data science possess, right? So what is the important skills for data science? Coming back to the same thing here, you have this we already talked about, like the tools and technical skills. Additionally, what we need is one, definitely problem solving skills, which means that as you start your conversation with your stakeholders, customer, you need to understand what the problem is and finding out the right model, the right solution for the problem, right? That's one. Now, once you solve the problem, you need to communicate well as well. You need to have good communication skills to share your project, right? It's not about creating sell your project as well. We need to be good at understanding the problem statement, and then accordingly we need to good at communicating the problem statement as well, so that we can build the right solution and share it back with the customer. Apart from the tools and technical skills that we need to learn, for example, Python, SQL, Tableau, right? These are the three main programming skills or tools that we have to use apart from the machine learning algorithms, let's say, to become a data scientist. And slowly, as we move from data scientist to, let's say, Gen AI, scientist, or you want to become engineer, ML engineer, AI engineer, then we need to move to the learn those models as well. Okay. Now, again, I'll not go deeper, because this is something like at a very low level kind of structure in an organization. But just to tell you at a high level, like how this data science or analytics sits in the organization. So, for example, like every organization who's called themselves, like who call themselves as a AI or data science, company, organization, or AI company, they have to have data systems in place at the bottom of the layer, which means that you can't build and you can't build any ML model based use them if you don't have data available. You have to have how the data is available. It has data ETLs, data governance part, so on and so forth, like that, right? Which means that you have to have databases exist. On top of that, now there should be data engineering or data architects who can actually, or data strategy, I would say, who can actually build the required layer, so the right data set or data tables are being generated from the raw data. So for example, Amazon, right? So now you see the website in the front end, but back end there's a lot of data that is flowing from the website. Whatever you click, it's getting captured. Whatever you buy, it's getting captured. Whatever you leave in the cart is getting captured in the databases. So they know, the Amazon knows that, okay, what you have in your cart every time, so that they can send you email accordingly, right? So that kind of level of architecture is something somewhere required by the data architects and data layer. So that's called engineering layer. After that, we have a data science layer, which is building the models on top of it. As I said in the first slide itself, that once you understand the problem statement, you collect the required data that is coming from this table only, and then once you acquire the correct data, you start building the model. That's the data science layer. And then you visualize the data. There's a Tableau dashboards, or maybe ClickView, ClickSense Tableau dashboards are there, which you can use to showcase your result and then share the result with the stakeholders so that they can take required decisions, or like whatever decision recommendation that you make to them. Okay. Uh, let's skills that are for this one. I think really I already talked about. Like, let's go in detail of this one. Then what are required to become a data scientist? What skills are required? Uh, I would say, starting from, let's say, or maybe I'll cover this later. It'll come later. Let's cover this later. Yeah, here I think it's important, right? So you can see here in the middle is data where which is data scientist. What are required to become one? Maths and statistics. As I said, you need to become a mathematician or or statistician to become a data scientist, but basic math and stats is required. So probability knowledge, distribution knowledge, or some high level, I think is needed at a basic level. And also, you need to be good at numbers, like you should know analyze how to, you know, uh, base of data. Otherwise, what will happen is it will be very difficult for you to the trends, because data is trends analysis, right? So if you're not able to identify the trends, it will be difficult. It's not you don't need to you need to know pure mathematics, not related. So, right? Be good at basic maths and statistics knowledge. That's one. Data understanding, which means that which is a part of, as I said, part of maths only. Once you know the data, you need to have an experience to understand the data, like how does the data work, how does the trend work of the data, so on and so forth, like that. And then
Hi, Aniket. Sorry to cut you off. Your voice is breaking slightly. Can you maybe connect again with
uh,
the audio?
yeah, yeah, uh, but is it like consistently breaking or
No, it's in gaps, but right now when you were speaking, it was fine. So I think we can continue.
okay? Yeah. So I was talking about the skills that are needed, the slide visible. So then we improving models and algorithms. So now uh, that means uh, no, the technical skill are the machine learning algorithms, the unsupervised PCA kind of algorithms we need to learn to become a good data scientist. Python is R is both of them are like optional substitute, but most of the organizations use Python, the codes are in Python. So then Python should be something that we should be learning. And learn these, all of these skills are actually required to become a GenAI scientist also. Let's say in future, if you
Hi,
aspire to
Aniket.
be a
Sorry to cut you off again, but the voice is still breaking.
can you guys hear me now? Better?
Yes, clear. Yes, Aniket, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I think there's some network issue here. Um, yeah. So what I was saying is that that whatever skills that we learn for data scientists, all of these skills uh, are for people who want to aspire to become, let's say, a Gen AI scientist, AI engineer as well, right? So Python is required there, maths knowledge, maths and statistics knowledge is also required there. So these are foundational skills which will help you to become to make your career in Gen AI as well in future, right? So don't worry about that. It's not a different set of skills that you have to learn to become a data scientist today, and then let's say if you want to move to Gen AI tomorrow. Both skill sets are completely overlapping, right? So that's one. People who aspire to become a data engineer, again, that's a separate exercise altogether, but you need to know more the engineering side, right? So here you might not be learning on the modeling side or maybe the tools like maths and statistics, but engineering like API knowledge, data handling, databases like that. These kind of skills are required to be learned, right? And for business analyst, you see most of the skills will be overlapping, but here mainly you're not working on the models per se, the algorithms and machine learning algorithms, but you're working on a lot of data analysis use cases where like visualizing the data properly, right? Using Tableau, etc. Right? Tableau or Power BI, or let's say ClickView, ClickSense kind of tools are required. Yeah, I see that messages are here. I hope now it's better. But in case if it's not good, please ping. I'll keep this chat window open so that I can see the ping. Okay. So these roles and like the learning skills, the skills that are required to learn to become a data scientist or data engineer or business analyst. Okay, let's now talk about the Great Learning Program, the PGP Data Science and Business Analytics Program. The one good part about this program is, if you can think of, right, so the program is designed in such a way that covers everything for you, right? In terms of like all the domain, you become eligible technically after doing this. How? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you how. One, the skills that are required, the tools, the techniques that I talked about is covered. Um, as a module in the course. That's one. Both for data scientists, for business analyst, as well as Gen AI scientist as well. Or let's say if you want to again work right now, there's no role as such, like companies are looking for Gen AI scientists, but yes, ML research teams are currently handling the Gen AI models part. So in case if you want to move to research side, Gen AI, models are something that you need to learn. So that is also covered in this program. One module, dedicated module is there. So you actually become a horizontal resource in the market. So wherever you see a company who is moving towards AI, who is using traditional, let's say AML techniques, or who is using currently depending on the data analytics company, you are eligible in all the three types of companies. So that's a value prop of this particular course, right? So this program, I am also an alumni of this program. But I was a second, like one of the first few batch students. So that time Jenny was not there, but now Jenny has come. So the program has evolved a lot, right, over the period of time. But you can see here that starting from Chat GPT and generative AI, right, you can see that all the required knowledge on the prompt engineering, let's say, or maybe how to build the Gen AI application, something that is covered in the program, right? Then there is a AI and business analytics module, which is again the AI ML and business analytics module, means that you get covered here the ML skills, the AI skills, which means the deep learning model, the machine learning model that I talked about in this module, right? Not only that, you actually get a hands-on experience in the sense that you now work on 20 plus tools. Tableau is there, as I said, different variation, Python, R, all these tools. 11 plus hands-on project, because there are 11 months, there are 11 projects in the 11-month course, plus there are 60 plus case studies, which means that whenever every module, there are like 2 or 3 case studies covered in every module that you have for 11 months. So you actually do a lot of hands-on. It's course is more like a workshop that you attend. It's not only the theoretical typical courses that are available in the market. Okay. And just to talk more about the structure of this program, so it's a 12-month program, as I said, right? It is dedicatedly designed for people who are working, which means that like no weekday pressure on the course structure. The classes happen on the weekend, the live classes, live sessions. You get to work on the projects on the weekend time period, not on the weekdays, right? And also the mentor learning sessions also happen on the weekends. Only the recorded modules are there on the for you to consume on the weekday whenever you get time in a day, right? So that's how the course is designed. This course is one of the top course in terms of like analytics, and data science field. You get a dual certification from Great Learning in India, and then from the US University of Texas, Austin. It is again consecutive for the last 5-6 years. The course has been number one. I have been a beneficiary of this program, this course. I have done one of the few. I've attended one of the few initial batches, as I said, right? More like a workshop experience that you get, so and so forth, right? And just to talk about the curriculum, so the course is designed in such a way that there are three, in fact, like more than three, in fact, I would say 5 to 6, layers of the course. I mean, there are 5 to 6 layers, learning layers, I would call them, for you to learn from the course, right? One is foundational layer, where you learn courses like Python for data science, which means people who are not coming from technical background. Python, they don't know. SQL, they don't know, like that. So Python is there, SQL is there, you can see. Stats is there, right? Statistics is there. In fact, statistics, there are multiple modules. One of the module is this, and then you learn statistics in the machine learning module as well, in machine learning 1 and machine learning 2. So then people are coming from non-technical background, not studied maths, right? They are taught in such a way that you get a grasp, of this, of the foundational tools and techniques that we talked about. Then there is a mid, ML layer, we call it, right? Or learning level two, which is the all the machine learning algorithms that you have. So theoretical knowledge in the machine learning in the sense that how a model works, videos are there, which you can go through. So which is the layer two, where the machine learning layer. The third layer is a practical hands-on layer, which is the courses, the projects that you use. So capstone project is there. There is a, you can see the data visualization Tableau there, right? Natural language processing, Gen AI, where you actually more do hands-on work than only learning about the algorithm, right? So that's how the three layers the course is structured. So learning the foundation layer, the mid layer where you learn about machine learning, and there's advanced layer, or not advanced layer, it's actually mid layer, which is the hands-on layer where you actually practice the work, the case studies on your. And these are the tools. I'm not going to detail of this one. Just to highlight, LangChain is one of the Gen AI technique architecture. ChatGPT, LLM models are there. These are you use to create your application, Gen AI application, so and so. There are lots of tools that are covered, right? Apart from that, you also get the peer-to-peer networking platform. Uh, uh, the mentors are actually industry level mentors where you actually they connect with you, and they might refer you also, right? So wherever there are openings in their company or some other company, so on and so forth. Um, so I think, yeah, that's about the certification primarily, but you can see the program deliveries for 12 months. You can see there are 70 plus hours of video lectures plus 70 plus hours of, the industry mentorship sessions are there, which for you to, um, go through, you attend them, you actually get a good hands-on learning, hands-on experience. The course fee is already mentioned here, 1,95,000 plus GST. So no cost option, low cost EMI options are there. Yeah, that's it. I will take a pause here. You can reach out to Great Learning Team. These are the contact detail. I think Smriti would have shared a form as well. So you can reach out to them. So what are the two certificates are basically, see, this certificate is a global certificate you get. It's a partnership between Great Learning and the University of Texas, Austin, which means a well-known university again. So wherever you outside India, let's say your certificate eligible, you can apply the jobs there as well. That's the idea of keeping the dual certification. Manikandan, if that answers your question. Price of the course I already answered. I'll stop sharing now, and maybe the contact details can be shared in the chat. Um, Madhuri is asking what kind of programming languages are needed. So yes, I think I covered that. But as of now, programming language, let's focus on Python primarily. That's where the most of the applications are being built. So Python is the core programming language, something we have to learn. That is one. Additionally, from Python, we can move to SQL. So SQL is also like, because we analyze a lot of data on day-to-day basis, we need to be good in SQL also. So Python and SQL are, say, I would say from tool side or tooling side, these are two things that are something required for you to become a good data scientist. Okay, that's on the programming knowledge side. Right. Apart from that, you learn tools like Tableau for data visualization. So not always needed, like not every day you have to use Tableau, but yes, there are cases for data scientists where you actually, better to showcase data via tools like Tableau than only Python. I mean, Python you can do also visualization, but we sometimes use a Tableau tool. For business analyst or data analyst, Tableau is a mandatory tool. For them, maybe Python is less important, but Tableau is more important because their role is to actually work on Python, Tableau, right? They have to generate dashboards, they have to analyze data on daily basis and generate Tableau reports or analysis like that. Okay. Any other question anyone has? Okay, there are fine. Okay, one by one, I'll take question. Manikandan is asking, after diploma, can we do this course? What is our grade like? So if you're doing any diploma, you have to check the eligibility. I would say reach out to the sales team, and then the program team, sorry, the program team. They should be able to help you here, because it's not about great learning. From great learning, you can't do, but you have to check eligibility in the market, right? Because without graduation, can you go in the market for data analytics or data science role? We have to check there. Okay. Um, Grade is not required. So grade is not a criteria for you to be enrolling with this a part-time course. The idea is to actually democratize data science education. So it's not something like any grade they're looking for. Diploma, if you're not graduate, then you have to check to the program team. Okay. I hope that answers the questions. Anant is asking, how are people storing those large amount of data? Yes, so there are databases. Large data is being stored. So um, there's an infrastructure layer, right, where we have our infrastructure pipeline where cloud comes into picture. So a lot of data is stored in cloud. You access them. There are tables, databases, which data engineering teams, hit, store the data, manage the data, and all these processing work is done on the cloud infrastructure, and that is being used for the to access. And let's say a data center has to access that data center hits those cloud databases. Okay, Anant, does that answer the question? Okay. One person is asking, I'm currently working as a social analyst with 4 years of experience in ORM and analytics, having worked for tech entertainment FMCG clients. Will I still need to work on the domain knowledge? So depends. Yes, 4 years of knowledge is very. I would say that. I mean, depends on what have you worked on so far. But see, domain knowledge, there's no end to it. There's no limit to it. It'll always keep increasing in the sense that the more you stay in the domain, the more you get knowledge, right? The more problems you solve, the more you get experience, like that, right? So challenges never end, right? So you learn more as you work more. So but for if you're asking from eligibility point of view, no, there is no requirement as such. As I said, depends which role are you entering. So if you are a fresher, then domain companies, organization, when they hire you, they know that you're not from that domain. You will learn over the period of time. Okay, but if you have some historical knowledge, let's say about some work experience, that can actually help in general as well. Okay. So Dhananjay is asking, career mentoring is available, yes, during the course also and after the course as well. Um, Hiring person is something, again, you need to reach out to the program manager team, Dhananjay. They'll be able to, answer it better. Okay. Yes. So ChatGPT, there is a dedicated session in the module, Anant, right? So ChatGPT, actually, you will not only understand that, you'll also use it, how to run those models in the backend. There'll be a Python code that will be explained to you how ChatGPT is run. Okay. So you will get much better knowledge. Right now, if I tell you, it will be very high level. So that will not help. But rest assured, there's a dedicated module talks about to run the model, and you do a project also on that. So it's that level of depth is covered, if that answers the question. Yes. Yeah. So for 50, see, generally people who are 10 plus years of experience, I recommend them. There's a question in the chat, in the Q&A, that how much beneficial this course will be for a digital marketing sales professional with 15 plus years of experience. So generally for people who are 10 plus years of experience, I recommend them that you should try to leverage this AI ML technology in the current, domain. See, every company is now moving to become an AI company, or sooner or later, every company will be an AI company, right? Software company, technology company, right? Which means what? Which means that you have to build the AI applications. You have to integrate the AI in your software applications, in your product that you're selling to customers. So companies or organizations need those people who have the knowledge, right? So once you are, let's say you do this course, you become ready for the market. Companies internally also, you share this knowledge that I am, aware of this technology. I am a practitioner of this technology. I have worked on this project. You share your credentials with the stakeholders or customers within your company, and I'm very sure that they will definitely entertain that, right, or listen to you for that, because marketing and sales is one of the area where AI will be embedding significantly deeper, right? There are sales agents being built, there are marketing content creation agents being built, so which will actually you know help you, right? If once you, because if you know the AI ML, if you have the knowledge of AI or Gen AI, you'll be able to understand the flow much better and maybe help the company also, your company. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If there are no questions, then we can wait for maybe 1 or 2 minutes for any other questions. Any last questions, guys? Any one of you? Happy to answer. Hopefully, the session was helpful, enlightening for you guys, right? You can reach out to the program team. They are always happy to come meeting, right? Even if you have some doubt, you should definitely check, ask them to them, right? And then connect. Uh, Maybe there's a path. So one thing I would like to always say is that exploring, this is the phase of learning. Everybody's learning here. Nobody knows AI at their depth unless people who are building it, of course. I mean, but then everybody is learning because companies are transforming. I know that we are busy in our day-to-day jobs. Like I'm also doing office, returning home today, I got late, right? So there was huge traffic. So everybody is juggling in that traffic, in the work, day-to-day work, but keep some time for learning as well, right? So the way I was keeping, like I had to, discuss in this. Sorry, guys. Yeah, what I was saying is you guys also took time and then joined the, session on a weekday. So keep learning. So let's see how it, goes. Don't worry about too much of the AI side. Keep learning with the technology. Sooner or later we'll understand this whole process, right? Where somewhere it'll settle. So I would say that that'll be my only recommendation. So about learning. So don't delay the learning. Okay. Smriti, we don't have any other questions, right?
Yes, Aniket. I think we can wrap up. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you, Aniket. We have the form live in the chat window. You can always fill that in, and if you have any additional queries, uh, please do put that in there, and we'll have our team of experts get in touch with you and answer all of your questions. I'll keep this webinar live for a couple of minutes and then close it. Please do click on the link and go ahead and fill in your queries if you have any. Thank you once again for taking time out and joining our session.